Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. I stir my coffee with chopsticks every day using the Vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. We'll get started in just a minute, but first, coffee. This is the absolute last of the Ethiopian Guatemalan mix. Of course, the best blend that I ever had. I don't know what happened in that container, but the proportion is perfect. My last cup of that blend is the best. And I am drinking it with real cream. Heat it up first. There's going to be a lot of sipping going on today. As one of my favorite YouTube commenters says, "You ain't doing nothing with those chopsticks, bitch." I'll remember that. The stuff that I wake up to every day. I don't know if it's people getting high, drunk, or just getting more brave at night. The comments are just funny, and they're like funny or hateful in the morning. And I have to decide if I want to expose my brain to that nonsense. Because you can't tell the funny stuff from the stupid, hateful stuff first thing. You know, like when you read things, I wish there was like here, like when I get my virtual assistant, here, read these funny responses, read these funny emails. Instead, I go through everything as far as comments, emails, and so forth. And then I usually block. The reason why I do that is when people say like really stupid, hateful, poisonous stuff, I want the community here to be positive. If someone insults me, but they're like really funny when they do it, I'm like, okay, that stays because it's funny. And I can laugh. And even if I am the, the source of that laughter, that's okay. Really life. One of your challenges in life is not to take yourself so seriously. And I want to pass that on to you, my friend. I do. One guy said, "What makes you a thought leader?" My comment was, "Because I think and I lead." Or at least that's what your mother told me last night. People just, a lot of times, if you're going to say, remember, your mother or father or grandmother would say something like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. And when it comes to the keyboard world, people have so many choices. It's not just a straight road, or it's not a fork in the road. You have multiple paths you can take. And you can choose to write so many things, but if someone chooses to be an a-hole, I don't want that poisoning the rest of my community. I want an army of people, of followers that are enthusiastic about life and don't get discouraged. And there's nothing worse than seeing someone you admire or a leader or your mentor being hammered by idiots. So I just delete and block. That's all. I don't need it. And I think you should do that too in your life. Who are you putting up with in your life that you should be putting up with? That's a good question, right? I can only show you the door, but you are the one that has to walk through it. The pill you took is part of the TRACE program. It's designed to disrupt your input-output carrier signal so we can pinpoint your location. Well, what does that mean? It means buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, because Kansas is about to go bye-bye. I took a poll. Would you rather have peace of mind, give a piece of your mind, or Nibiru? 73% said peace of mind. 8% said give a piece of your mind. 19% said Nibiru. I think laser tattoo removal would be the easiest service to sell. You'll pay for your training and equipment in 90 days. Do it. And then tell me that you're doing it. Please stay in touch. Look up laser tattoo removal training. The reason being is that laser tattoo removal, that industry is now bigger than the tattoo industry. I knew that was going to happen. Knew that. When I started seeing people putting poetry and like lines of stuff that's going to look like a black stripe in about 5 years. Most tattoos look like bruises. People don't think. They don't think down the line. My 2 hangouts are biker bars where I just go anonymously. People really don't know me. And there are people covered with, I'm talking the real deal. I'm not talking hipsters. I'm not talking bearded hipsters in Austin. No offense against bearded hipsters in Austin. I'm talking about guys that got tattoos and ladies that got tattoos 20, 30, 40 years ago. Most tattoos end up looking like bruises after a while. I don't care how good the artist is. I don't care how good the artist is. Defend people all you want. And then now with the advent of people putting words, I remember Japanese letters and tribal stuff. I'm like, okay. All right. Now I have tattoos. They're my kids. And they're significant to me. I know. And I know your tattoos are significant. You thought about them for at least 5 minutes. In case you're looking for a new business opportunity and you want to make money, laser tattoo removal is bigger than the tattoo industry. Get the training, make the connections, do the work, make the money. You can make so much money in that field. It's trading time for money. But if you're going to have a trade, you might as well have something that makes money and you can do anywhere. I would set up right next to a tattoo studio. Everything that is part of the body is designed to work until we die. Our heart, our lungs, our liver, kidneys, and sex organs. It's all part of our body. Sex is as natural as your heart beating and your lungs bringing in air. Not having sex is not natural. Don't confuse normal, which is a statistical term, with natural. Now, is there a time and place for everything? Yes, of course. But keep that in mind. And of course, I'm only speaking to the married people because sex without being married is bad. I took a poll. What is your favorite browser? Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, or other? 5% said Internet Explorer, 65% said Chrome, 20% said Firefox, 10% said other. And I had a lot of people pointing to Brave and DuckDuckGo or something like that. I'm not sure. Dear Internet Explorer, I'm breaking up with you. We are no longer compatible. We argue too much, and you don't like my friends. Goodbye. What a waste of technology. It might have worked well for a while, but my lord, they weren't thinking ahead, were they? Overused millennial words. Cringe, cringy, cringeworthy. Change my mind. Ask not what your gender can do for you, but what you can do for your gender. The Sultan. I'm not seeing my liberal Democrat followers publicly disavowing violence and aggression by their fellow liberal resist people. Resist. Your silence makes you complicit. That is why I would never hire you, do a business deal with you, or collab with you in any way. Macho is to masculine as feminist is to feminine. Feminist does not compliment macho like the feminine compliments the masculine. People who are so eager and militant about redefining things are too lazy to be original. Those who say spread love, not hate, are the first ones to throw a rock or try to hurt you. Changed my mind on that one. Remember when diners would serve coffee in buffalo china cup and saucers? Things that just aren't there anymore. Toxic masculinity? No such thing. There's assholes, and they're toxic. There's toxic personalities that are male and female. Don't confuse masculinity with its bastard, off-meds, crazy stepbrother machismo, macho. No gender owns toxicity. If you did a series of commercials that talked about shaving off your feminist toxicity, you'd be considered an abuser and woman hater, etc., etc., etc. I love the smell of book ink in the morning. Umberto Eco. Please, Hollywood, no more sequels or remakes without original casting. Leave well enough alone. When will you learn that just changing the gender or race of characters in a remake is a recipe for failure? Come up with original content. Look at Spawn. Unbelievable character. Look at Tomb Raider. Unbelievable character. Don't change what already works to kind of keep up with the times. Create something new. You want to create new content with a new agenda, social engineering? Create a new character. Don't poison, twist, modify, and make traditional characters your little social justice pets to spread messages. Masculinity is so toxic, women were warned not to put it inside of them anymore. I can tell you that the ladies that talk about toxic masculinity, there ain't a man in the world that wants to put anything inside of you. That I know for sure. Hey, let's talk about fishing. I wrote a column for a couple newspapers years ago. And I wrote one column about fishing and why it's important. Those of you that are fishermen and fisher ladies might like this. Haters, you won't like anything that I do. That's okay. I didn't write it for you anyways. This is called Fishing with Your Kids is Not Really About Fishing. I was invited to speak at a men's group. The dramatic monologue was called Lessons from the Creekside. It was more about the lessons that children learn while fishing. I contend that more character and life lessons are learned in one day of fishing than in any other activity. And there's 21 specific lessons in a day of fishing. I used to back the truck up to the stream, to the creek. And me and all 3 kids would be sitting on the tailgate with fishing poles. And the littlest one just happy to have a line in the water. And then we started there. And then one would want to get off the truck, go down a little ways, throw a line in downstream. Another one would go down there upstream, throw a line in. We were using lures, bait, things that go all the way to the bottom, things that float with bobbers. It was fun. And then there were times when we would take the fish that we caught, put them on a stringer, bring them home, clean them, and then have the fish for dinner. The list of lessons that are learned in fishing are this: patience. You know it's patience. Problem solving. In any scenario in fishing, there's problem solving. Everything from, you're getting ready to cast and the line goes up in a branch and you think, now I have to get that down. And just like yanking on it is not going to work. So you try different angles. Getting a lure or your bait stuck in a rock. So, and just pulling on it is it's going to break off and you lose it. So you have to think, strategy, go up a little bit, go down a little bit, maybe walk across the stream. Strategy, respect for nature. When you get to a favorite fishing hole or a place, you don't want to see other people's garbage around. You want to see nature as it was intended to be. So what happens is you create a fishing area that's clean, like the kind that you want. And you respect the area. You don't litter. You're not cutting things down that are green. If you make a fire, you use already fallen timber and branches. Cooperation with others. If there's other people fishing, there's a certain space. It's kind of like dudes walking into a men's room and there's a row of 10 urinals and there's a guy at one end. If you go and you take a leak right in the urinal next to him, he's going to be like, wait. There's just kind of like this unspoken thing where you go at the other end. Or at least not next to the guy who's already standing there taking a leak. Cooperation with others. Dealing with the unexpected. Self-sufficiency. Rewards for your work. Did you ever not leave a fishing hole or a stream or a place where you're throwing a line and say, I'm not leaving till I catch a fish? And you work. And then you catch a fish that's this big and you go, yes. It wasn't the one that was this big. It was the one this big. But you're happy that you caught that. And there's 14 other valuable lessons in dealing with character in life when you go fishing. For instance, fishing helps you develop a respect for nature. There's laws that guide what size fish we can take home. Or is it catch and release? If a certain fish is too small, you release it so it can grow bigger, spawn, and become part of the ecological balance. When you release it, you try to do no harm while removing the hook, and you gently reintroduce it into the water. This ensures that it will live and thrive. All of that is in respect for nature. Another lesson is one in honesty and respect for the law. You teach children that there's fishing rules and regulations, and those things can be enforced by wardens, game wardens. Even though there might not be a warden checking your catch, it's up to the individual to honor and abide by those laws, even when no one is looking. That is called integrity. Other lessons when you take children fishing, or people who've never gone fishing, but I wrote this about taking children fishing and why it's important. Planning, preparation, dealing with the unexpected, mechanical skills, maintenance. If you don't take care of your rig, your rod and reel, it's not going to work for you when you get near the water, when you're in the boat, when you're lakeside, when you're finally at that favorite fishing hole. You take care of your tools. You keep your knives sharp. You keep gears oiled. You keep things mechanically working well. Cooperation with others, respect for others, patience, problem solving, fine motor skills. There's many times where here you are throwing a line in the big wide open area, and this is your workshop. And then there's times where this is your workshop, what is just right in front of you. Restraint, emergency preparedness, respect for nature, honesty, being law-abiding, marketing skills, dealing with disappointment, adapt and improvise, and self-sufficiency, reward for work, and finally, gratitude. At the end of the day, you're giving thanks. I give thanks to God. You can just give thanks to nature or whatever you want. I thank the Lord for what He provided at the end of my day. It's going to feed me at the end of the day, or put fish in the freezer and feed the family. I said all that to say this. If you're a parent, take your kids fishing. As any true fisherman knows, when you take your kids fishing, it's not really the fish that you're after. And with that, I'm going to say finish your coffee. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning.